Somebody once said that it is deception by perception. They want to tell you what they want you to know, but not what the truth really is. It's been a minute since we've done one of these discussion videos, ladies and gentlemen. We got a whole lot of baffling stuff that's going around in the world. Like this video if you like it, subscribe if you're brand new, check this.
And it's going to pull the curtain back, specifically on the lost 100 years of these technologies. And it's going to go all the way back, more than 100 years, to the Stubblefield Earth battery. And Nikola Tesla standing there with his old farmer, where he's running his whole farm on this device where he has stakes in the ground that are tapping into this electromagnetic and mostly magnetic flux field and running generators running his farm. This is 1902.
This is 1902?
1902. And Nikola Tesla is standing there. I got the picture. This document is going to blow. It goes from that all the way to the Lockheed Skunk Works devices that started being built in the 50s. We have witnesses and transcripts of the Norton Air Force Base show, California. Norton's closed now. But they had an air show in 1988 where there were 3 of these man-made UFOs, ARVs, alien reproduction vehicles, hovering in this hangar.
When you say alien reproduction vehicles, like what do you mean? Like, because in my mind I'm thinking about something completely different right now.
And those, we have those fully illustrated. We have enough detail. We actually have the schematics of the interior.
You have the schematics of the interior?
And the exterior, how they look. And these were built, interestingly, the witness who was there was an aerospace designer. We saw that the components in it, now this is 1988, were from the late Mercury era. So the Mercury capsule, which was late 50s, early 60s. And they had markings and...
Holy crap. Okay, so let's see. Main and reserve chutes. Okay, so you got the pitch and yaw control jet horizon scanners right there. You got the antenna housing. So you're saying that this is like the design of the UFO, or this is clearly a human by the looks of it, or what if it's not, right? I think they were trying to reproduce, or not necessarily reproduce, but reverse engineer the UFO craft and make it so a human can sit in. I think so. You got the heat shield, you got the communication system right there. Yeah, look at the shape of this thing. Damn, and you got the sitting position for one person right there. You got the controller there, couch. Yeah, holy crap, bro.
Charts on them where they've been out in space around our solar system. They were specifically told these had gone through the solar system. Now those were from the late 50s, early 60s. No jet fuel, no rockets. So this is going to be shocking. It's going to be shocking. Well, we're going to actually have a lot of the devices going through the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s that weren't the flying devices. But I'll give you an example. There was an inventor named Floyd Sweep, and he had a solid state device, looked like a little bigger than a cigarette pack, that you could attach to an electric motor, say for a car. It wasn't plugged in. Once it got going, it was a 0 point quantum vacuum flux, and it would run a 300 horsepower motor. So imagine having a 300 horsepower motor in your Tesla or your truck, and this little sitting there, no batteries. You don't have 900 pounds of lithium-ion batteries, and the lithium-ion batteries really are destroying the environment. And you never have to plug it in. About the time he was going to get, he was meeting with some people at GM who thought they were interested, but they were actually just trying to find out what he had. After that meeting, he died suddenly, suspiciously.
Of course,
how people claiming, well, he dropped dead of a heart attack. And that was plausible because he was an elderly guy. Mm-hmm. But before that, he had had an assassination attempt. He was going up some steps, and a sniper was trying to shoot it, but he didn't know it. He tripped just as the bullet went.
Man, the stuff that's, you know, I'm sure you're imagining what just recently happened with Trump assassination. Yeah, there was a Trump assassination attempt as well. Not trying to make it like politics, but that's a real fact. That's what happened, right? And there have been, people have analyzed that situation very well, right? Had it been like Trump was standing still like that, he would have died ultimately, right? He would have been assassinated. The fact is that he turns his head a lot, and, you know, somehow, some way, he was able to turn his head like that, and bam, the bullet came and hit through and went through his ear, right? Had it been his head was like that, it would have entered from here and exited from the other side. That, yeah, so holy crap, like, what are the odds, what are the chances? So
right past his head. And we have the testimony of a lieutenant colonel who was involved in this case, who is a physicist also. This is going to be shocking to people.
Oh, yeah.
It's utterly shocking.
You know, these mysterious deaths, some people are like, oh, you know, that, no way. Well, it does. We talked about the Epstein stuff. Let's talk, you know, the guy that invented the hydrocar, gone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there have been so many. I've worked with people.
And then there was
who've done that.
If you could...
The guy that also did leak that Project Bluebeam stuff, he also died mysteriously, right? Basically, so many whistleblowers that so many whistleblowers have passed away mysteriously after revealing, leaking, perhaps you can say spreading rumors or conspiracies. Somehow, magically, mysteriously, they just pass away. They die.
Refresh my memory, but wasn't there somebody else that disappeared and they just happened to be involved?
Yeah, there have been a number of folks where things get set up like that around them. There was a guy doing up this recent in New York where there was a man who had recreated this water fuel cell where your car could run off water. Yeah, and just bizarre stuff. Man. So one of the problems with all these inventors,
I mean, it's not a consequence. It's not a coincidence.
No, these are hits. But the problem is that if you're a brilliant electromagnetic engineer, but you don't know the bear you're about to poke with that technology and what they'll do to keep it suppressed, you're destined to fail. So one of the reasons we're doing this documentary is to provide the context so that people who do have these devices come to us, and we have a strategy that we briefly outline in this documentary of how to fix this problem. Well, how do you fix it? The big mistake people make, they try to patent it. And we have actually a national security order denial on a patent of one of these devices from an inventor I know. So we're going to prove this is not a conspiracy theory. Here it is from the patent office. So they ain't going to allow it. It gets confiscated. We have a patent examiner who's a PhD physicist testifying that they confiscate these things. That's in the movie. Then we say, okay, how are you going to get it out then? If you try to keep how it operates secret, then you're very vulnerable. So one of the things I did for the disclosure project for my own security is to decentralize everything I have. It's called detargeting. So why have a big bullseye on your ass when if you were to disperse all your information and intelligence, which I have done, it would still be out there. Moreover, you create a dead man trigger. So since the 90s, I've had a dead man trigger of stuff I'm holding back. If something happens to me, that hits the internet, and every celebrity that supports what we're doing, that can reach 1 billion people, they get it, and they put it out on Instagram, and boom. And this is stuff they do not want out. Mm-hmm. It's names, it's stuff that I have not released, and where, and who. But people...
I wanna know your opinion on this one real quick, because of course there are some people, a lot of people do believe in Dr. Steven Greer. A lot of people don't believe in him, right? But what he just said is insane, though. So, but I want whatever you're holding back. If that's true, I want that out. I want that out, not because before you pass away or something like that, but I guess he's holding. If this is true, this is insane, right? I guess he's holding back on stuff that would come out if he dies, and he has that deathman trigger, so he's assuming that they're gonna try to kill him, but he's holding that information back so they don't kill him. And this is like his way, because I remember Bob Lazar did almost kind of like the same thing, right? He went public and he revealed his face, and he's like, oh man, I'm afraid of my life, I'm scared for my life, bro. So he came forward, and maybe that's the reason why he wasn't killed, because they try to remove his past, right? We saw what happened with Bob Lazar, but initially what Bob Lazar said was that they were after. Later on, he regretted actually coming out, because at the time he thought that they were gonna kill him, but that was not true. They were not looking to kill him. It was just that his wife was having extramarital affair with somebody else, and the people that were surveilling the Area 51, they didn't want that information to be out. They don't want that they didn't want Bob hearing that information, right? Because they were spying on him, and this is why they found out. And later on, Bob also found out, but they were acting strange around Bob, so Bob was like, okay, maybe they're gonna kill him, and I guess the best thing to do in this situation is to come out, be a whistleblower, reveal my identity, reveal my face. I'm gonna leak everything I know, so hopefully they don't kill me after that. And they didn't kill him, thankfully, but he after the fact, he was saying that I regret coming out. I wish I stayed silent. I wish I could have worked on this stuff more, right? Which, I mean, yeah, crazy stuff. If you want to believe it, that's what we heard from his story.
They said, why don't you release it? I said, well, this is one of my insurance policies. Well, what these inventors don't get is that they don't do that. They have no SecOps, so they have no security protocols. They just think I have a better mousetrap, the world's going to beat a path to my door. When in reality, Murder Incorporated beats a path to their door, okay? Or it just gets confiscated. Most of the time, it's not even that. They're so crazy. They think, we're going to keep this secret. Nobody will know how it works. And I'm going to just sort of be able to get it out there without no one proving it. And I said, no. If you're making an outrageous claim that you're pulling energy out of the space around us, it's got to be released for scientific review. It's got to be reproduced by multiple labs and people who are skilled in the art. You got to open source it. Open source means it's just out there. At the first level. Now maybe at the second level you could patent, because then the whole world knows. So what we're proposing is that at a level 1 phase of these new technologies coming out, we're going to leave the things that fly alone, because those could be missile delivery systems. But the things that would run your house or car, whatever, a boat, a truck, those need to come out like 100 years ago. So the way to do it, and this we outline, is that we would disclose it publicly on blockchain protected systems, massively, multiple celebrities. And the first 20 of these devices we would reproduce would be running Demi Lovato's home, or Leo DiCaprio's house, or Dave Grohl, the Foo Fighters, or whoever, all these people interested in the subject. Why? Because the media could suppress this, but you can't suppress dozens of celebrities with 1 billion followers.
Yeah.
Got it? I mean, you know, sort of like, it's a very well thought through strategy. It's unconventional. Because my view is, you put a boulder in front of where we're trying to flow, but you just, the water, if you're water, you just flow around it.
No, I mean, it makes perfect sense. Even if they do try to suppress it, once, you know, because they could take the post, they could take the video, it's already been out there.
Out.
So many people have already seen it. They would have to delete the accounts before it gets out.
Well, they'd have to tear down the whole internet. If you have, so our plan would be to have a multi-nation, multi-site, blockchain-protected release of the schematics, how it works, everything about it, so anyone could reproduce it, if you know how to do that. I mean, I couldn't even make a toaster oven.
How many people?
These are insane and bold claims, bro. I'm curious though. Like, I'm invested right now. I want this information out though, but I don't want him to die for the information to come out, of course. But I want that information out, man. Damn, bro. Like, but if this is true, I guess this is his insurance policy, like you said.
Do you think are out there that know how to produce this kind of technology?
Oh, hundreds. Hundreds, maybe more. Over the years, there have been thousands of these devices that have come and gone. Most of them, people just take it to their grave because they don't understand the strategy of what they need to do. So they'll make a deal with someone financially, and that someone is fronting for another interest that suppresses it, buys it out. It's called black shelving. Happens all the time in the corporate world. You want something that's a competition, you create a corporate entity, you fund to get controlling interest in it, and then you just put it on black shelf. I know of multiple devices that would literally save humanity and the planet that's happened to. So you can't do it that way, because the legal and financial traps are real. The national security applications that have been abused under the patent law are real. The lost century, this film is going to prove all this.
Okay.
To the extent that the public, you know, and it's an hour and 48 minutes, but it's all there. So I think that what we're asking people is another ask: if you know of someone, or you have one of these systems.
Yeah, now listen, I have seen his past documentaries, but to somebody that might be new to him, what he just said is gonna be a red flag to a lot of people. Oh, so you're just promoting your book. Oh, you're just promoting your film, your documentary, right? Like, yeah, that's a valid point right there. He is promoting his film right there. But as somebody that has seen his past documentaries, I believe it was called The Cyrus or The Fifth Kind. I've seen all of it, but like, I'm not sure in which one. Generally speaking, like, he does bring people on with credentials, like whether that be military people, whether that be people in the know and all that, right? And we see their names, their credentials and all that, and they do talk about this crap openly as well. So he does bring a lot of testimonies, so I'll give him that. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. His documentaries have been, first of all, very entertaining, secondly fascinating, and third, he does, like I said, bring people with credentials and the testimonies that seems very genuine, that feels very, very well. If you have not seen The Cyrus and the Fifth Kind, something like that, just Google Dr. Steven Greer documentaries, you're gonna find all of them. I would recommend watching all of them. They're actually very well done, and they're very good as well.
To us, we have a strategy and the contacts to get it out. Now, the second level, people say, well, I did all this work, I just want to make money on it. I said, that is the second phase. So once it's disclosed publicly, it's a little bit like DARPA creating the internet. So everyone uses the internet, and there's no one who owns the internet. But now that whole platform has created dozens of billion and trillion dollar companies, right? That's what needs to happen here. Because I think we have it, if we're lucky, 20 years to make this transition.
Why do you say that?
Because the rate of decay of the biosphere, but also the geopolitical problems we're facing, when you have this growing number of the world's population in utter despair and poverty, and it's all based on the fact of the zero-sum game of our energy and financial system. There's no changing that. I mean, if all 8 billion people on the planet live like you and I do, with air conditioning or trucks, the price of a gallon of fuel would be $100 a gallon. So the system we have now requires the geopolitical and military instability. It's a natural outgrowth, though. This is why, when I had this conversation with Senator Barry Goldwater, who was the senior senator from Arizona who ran for president in 1964, and lost. John McCain took his seat. And I was at his home in Paradise Valley. I was just there this week, but this was back in the 90s. And he said, it was a goddamn mistake then and a goddamn mistake now. This was ever kept secret. And because he and I had this long afternoon discussing this and what the implications of the secrecy have been, but also what are the wonderful implications of fixing this. Because it's nothing less than starting a whole new chapter in human civilization, where in 20 years, there'll be no poverty on the planet, no pollution, unbelievable abundance. Because if you bring to zero the cost of energy, of transportation, manufacturing, you're creating a global economy that's decentralized, where every village, home, whatever.
And yeah, this is something that he always talks about, right? The clean energy and all that, because that's was given to us by these aliens, or we discovered them through, we discovered it through them, some crap like that, right? And if this is really real, I want that out. It sounds good. But secondly, the reason they don't want it out is because they want to, first of all, make money and deplete the current like fossil fuels, the petrol, all that, right? The current energy. They don't want to bring this out, because once they bring it out, it's like they're shooting themselves on the foot, on the knee, right? They're leaving money on the table essentially, and also once they bring out this energy, then there would be other questions raised. Okay, so how, where, how, when? You know what I mean? How did you acquire this? Why were you hiding this? How did you get it, right? Like, from who? This and that. So there's like a whole lot of that, which generally makes sense, but it only makes sense if this is real, right? Like, the only question here is that, is this even real? Is this even real? Because these are very bold claims. And in his documentaries, he does bring a lot of testimonies, which we talked about earlier, but we need more proof, though. We need evidence. I mean, these claims are absolutely baffling. And I absolutely love to hear it. It's fascinating, gives hope, and all that. But yeah, I wanna see the proof too, though.
Is self-sufficient. This is sort of a libertarian's dream, right? But it's also an environmentalist dream. But I tell people this crosses all the political left-right stuff if you understand what's at stake here. So in this one movement, you solve some of the environmental existential problems we're facing. You're going to solve a lot of these geopolitical problems with oil and oil supply, Mideast, Russia, gas. But you're also going to, in a real sense, liberate the world from the current system so it can flourish without it being this handful of centralized choke points for energy. That's the plan.
Yeah.
Now, to do it, you need to have something that works. And I always tell people, a lot of people say, well, here's a black box and take my word for it. I go, no, I don't take the word for it. On something this important, it's got to be, we have to have the plans for it, we have to reproduce it, and we have to be able to have other people, third party, and reproduce it. And it should work as advertised. Most of these inventors don't want to do that because they don't know anything about science. But the sine qua non of science is independent verification and proof, and that's the other problem. A lot of these people have these inventions, but they keep the sauce secret. But no one's going to believe it. Why should they? I wouldn't. Yeah. Now, because I've gone into labs and had it tested, I know they exist. But they don't want to turn over the secret to the public because they're paranoid about having it's like Gollum. We use this in the movie, My Precious Ring, remember the movie? Yeah. And it's like,
I want to know, like, what lab you went to, man. I want to know about where you saw the secret sauce. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It sounds really good, and you know what? Like, I've seen the documentaries, so I'm inclined to believe some of the stuff that you say, but I need the evidence too. I wanna know about the stuff that you're hiding, my man. I wanna know where you saw that secret sauce, okay? Like all that. Like, what kind of lab you went to?
Like, they're trying to protect that, but they don't understand if they could get it out to the whole world as an open source, let's say, proof of principle system. The next phase, they could then create specific product that could be patented. Why? Because now the public would demand it. The scientific community would have it, and the public would say, I want that. I want that thing running my F-150 truck.
Yeah.
So I'm not spending $100 to fill it up if you're a carpenter. I'm my dad. So that is something that, becomes a really powerful solution. We're spending trillions of dollars on, frankly, fake environmental solutions.
I know you're right, because we actually covered, I did an episode on environmental solutions, which could help with fires, could help with world hunger, it could help with a lot of things, and it got zero attention. And these guys have been walked into Congress, they've been walked into the Senate. Nobody gave them the time of day, and
they need to contact here. If someone has something like this, and the reason they need to contact us is that I've worked with inventors since '91 who have had some version of these, and there's a certain number of known fatal mistakes they make that I'm outlining. So what I've tried to do, create a strategy that accounts for those mistakes. And kind of unconventional, because most people, when they get something like this, oh my God, I have to keep it secret, I got to patent it, I got to do this. No. You take it quickly. Because the most dangerous point is when you have something that works, but you don't have millions of people know about it yet. That's the window where it can be confiscated, where your lab can be firebombed, where it can be stolen, where you can be imprisoned, or killed, or whatever. So that is
absolutely.
just plain not smart.
So he's basically like saying that once you get it, bro, just leak it everywhere, okay? Just let your friends know, your mom know, your dogs know, let everybody know, okay? Let everybody know real quick, and tell them to keep it hush till everybody knows, and at once, boom, you just like leak it all together, like post it on the internet, post it there, post it here, post it there, let your dogs like bark it out, right? Like let other dogs know about it, so they let other dogs know about it, and then other dogs, you know, you tell 5 people and tell all those 5 people to tell other 5 people, and all of a sudden you like 20 million people know about it, and then like the cycle continues, right? You feel what I'm saying? So yeah.
Now, to most people don't know that the 800-pound gorilla is out there ready to squash you like a wormy apple. They go, oh, I'm great, I'm fine as frogs here. And until they get hit with these things.
How many of these devices have you seen personally?
Maybe a dozen or so over the years that have been legitimate.
Can you describe what a couple of them look like?
Well, one of them will be in this documentary, and it was out in the desert of Arizona. I was there in September of 2022, and this old guy had out there, it looked like a shoebox, and it was sitting there running. It'd been there for 2 years, putting out 3 kilowatts of power.
Really?
The average home on average uses about 1.5
Really?
What's inside of it?
Really?
He had some fake circuits so that nobody could steal his little secret ring, like Gollum, Lord of the Rings. And there were some specialized magnesium alloy plates. And it was basically resonating with the magnetic field, sort of similar to what Tesla did with the Wardenclyffe, his big Wardenclyffe system, but a much higher tech version.
What was the Wardenclyffe?
That was what Nikola Tesla had out on Long Island. That was this wireless transmission of power, and it was pulling power from the magnetic field of the Earth and converting it to electricity.
Okay.
And that all eventually got blown up. But Tesla had amazing breakthroughs. One of the things we're going to show in this documentary, people think it's an urban myth, that the FBI raided his apartment when he died and confiscated all his secret papers. I have the Department of Defense letter to the FBI demanding that the FBI turn those over to them. That's going to be in the documentary.
This is all going to be in the documentary?
Yep.
Back to the box. Does it make any sound? How does it hook up to?
The only thing you hear are the things it's running. He was running air conditioners and lights and this and that. We had no wires going into it with any power. The startup battery was a little teeny 3-volt that you could take out once it was running.
And how does it connect?
To what?
To air conditioners, to
conventional wires. It had 110 and 220.
Okay.
Holy crap, I'm invested, man. I'm gonna be definitely checking out the documentary. I'm assuming like this is gonna be one of the latest documentaries he's gonna put out. Yeah, I'm invested, bros. Check out this video on the screen. This is the last episode that we've done. I'm not sure if you guys were able to catch it or not. Got a ton of these UFO clips, and this one, a lot of people saw that dang thing at night time, and there was a perfect circular object in the sky. Check out this video on the screen. If you already seen it, then check out the video on the left.